For more than 12 years, the world watched a famous father and his only daughter drift apart in silence. Now that silence has been shattered, revealing a truth more heartbreaking than anyone imagined. Suri Noel, once known to the world as Suri Cruz, grew up under a spotlight she never asked for. Born into fame, raised in secrecy, and separated from her father by forces too powerful for a child to understand. Now, at 19, she is speaking with her choices, not her words. Her message has stunned anyone who remembers the picture-perfect family that once smiled on red carpets. This is the real story of a daughter who watched her father from a distance, and a man who watched her disappear from his life. A story of love, control, and a silence that grew into a permanent distance. The fairy tale that began in Hollywood. When Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes first met in 2005, it felt like a Hollywood story written before it happened. Katie was 26, fresh from Dawson's Creek, glowing with small-town charm and ambition. Tom was 43, already a global icon. Top Gun, Jerry Maguire, Mission Impossible. A man whose name alone filled theaters. Katie had once told 17 magazine that her dream was to marry Tom Cruise, and the world laughed at it as a harmless fantasy. But when Tom saw her, he reportedly told associates, "I'm going to marry her." Within weeks, the impossible became real. Their chemistry was undeniable. Photographs showed them holding hands in Rome, laughing like teenagers. Tom's famous couch jump on Oprah became a viral moment, a bizarre but unforgettable declaration of love. The world couldn't look away. A miracle born into secrecy. On April 18, 2006, Katie gave birth to their daughter Suri. The baby became the symbol of their whirlwind romance, the living proof that the fairy tale was real. Tom described Suri's birth as the happiest day of my life, calling her a miracle. But even this miracle was shaped by the beliefs that ruled Tom's world. Scientology. Katie, once a Catholic schoolgirl from Toledo, found herself navigating a new reality. Suri's birth followed Scientology customs, including a silent birth. No one in the delivery room was allowed to speak. Tom even bought a sonogram machine to track the pregnancy himself. To outsiders, it seemed controlling. To Tom, it was devotion. Later that year, they married in a lavish ceremony at the 15th century Odescalchi Castle in Bracciano, Italy. The wedding cost over $3 million, and guests included A-list stars like Will Smith and the Beckhams. Yet behind the glitter, Katie's family watched in growing concern. The first cracks in the perfect image by 2007, the world saw Tom and Katie as the ultimate Hollywood power couple. But behind the red carpets, something began to fracture. Friends noticed that Katie rarely appeared alone. Wherever she went, members of Tom's inner circle, often connected to Scientology, followed closely. Even casual outings became monitored events. Journalist Maureen Orth observed Katie say something that sounded innocent, but was telling. "Oh, we don't go outside very much." In Scientology, this kind of isolation is not unusual. Tom had already become one of the church's most powerful ambassadors, promoting its celebrity center and defending it against critics. For him, the church wasn't just a religion. It was truth, discipline, and salvation. For Katie, it became a boundary she could not cross. Her parents, devout Catholics, grew increasingly alarmed as their daughter became distant and seemingly controlled. The growing distance, a mother's fear. Katie's friends said she began to sound rehearsed, always repeating the same phrases about Tom. "He's amazing. He's wonderful." Her light dimmed. Her personality became more robotic, more distant. Meanwhile, Tom's adopted children with Nicole Kidman, Bella and Connor, were already deeply embedded in Scientology. It was expected that Suri would follow the same path. But Katie wasn't ready to surrender her daughter to a system she didn't understand. Slowly, quietly, she began to pull away. She stopped attending some church events and began reconnecting with old friends and colleagues. She spent more time in New York, away from the California life that had become a controlled environment. The cracks widened until they were impossible to ignore. Katie's fear wasn't only about her own life. It was about the future she imagined for Suri, trapped inside a world she couldn't escape. The escape that shocked Hollywood. On June 29, 2012, the world woke up to a shock no one saw coming. Katie Holmes filed for divorce from Tom Cruise. The timing was cold and calculated, just days before Tom's 50th birthday. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a rescue mission. Tom later admitted he hadn't expected it. "It hit me hard," he said. Behind the scenes, Katie had been preparing for months. She changed phones, hired new security, and replaced staff she suspected of reporting to Scientology handlers. Her father, Martin Holmes, a lawyer, served as her strategist. Katie chose New York as the battleground, knowing its laws favored the parent seeking sole custody. She filed in secret while Tom was filming Oblivion in Iceland. He learned of the divorce through headlines, losing control over the one thing he couldn't control: his family. The custody battle and the vanishing court documents later revealed Katie's motive: protection. She wanted full custody of 6-year-old Suri and authority over her schooling, medical care, and religion. Former Scientologists later claimed Katie feared Suri might be sent into the church's CEO program when she grew older, a fate she could not accept. The legal battle ended in just 11 days. Tom agreed to pay $400,000 per year in child support, plus additional expenses. But Katie didn't want money. She wanted distance. The day after the settlement, Katie and Suri disappeared from Los Angeles. They resurfaced in New York, where paparazzi photographed them walking hand in hand through Chelsea. Gone were the handlers, the staged appearances, and the church-controlled environment. Katie looked tired, but free. Suri's world had changed forever, and her father was no longer part of it. The years that followed. Silence and separation. After the divorce, Tom and Suri's lives split into separate galaxies. In 2013, Tom gave a rare deposition during a lawsuit and was asked whether Katie had left to protect Suri from Scientology. Tom bristled, calling it offensive, but admitted it was true as one of the assertions. That was the closest he ever came to acknowledging the distance. Reports later revealed Tom had seen Suri only once since the divorce, during a brief private meeting. After that, nothing. No photos, no confirmed sightings, no visits. Tom buried himself in work, mission. Impossible sequels, Top Gun, Maverick, world tours, stunts that defied gravity. Fans cheered, but his youngest daughter grew up without him. Meanwhile, Katie focused on building a normal life for Suri. She enrolled her in a Manhattan private school, took her to parks and dance classes, and shielded her from Hollywood. Suri grew up grounded, bright and independent, but the absence of her father was a silent presence. The new identity. Suri Noel. By 2021, Suri had grown into her own person. She attended New York's prestigious LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts, where she acted, sang, and directed short films. But one decision signaled a deeper change. She stopped using the name Suri Cruz. In her senior year musical program, she was listed as Suri Noel, her mother's middle name. It wasn't just a stage name. It was a declaration of identity. When she graduated in June 2024, the official list again named her Suri Noel. Tom was not present. He was thousands of miles away, reportedly attending a Taylor Swift concert in London. The contrast was painful for fans who remembered the smiling father lifting his daughter on red carpets. Katie, however, was there in New York, quietly crying as she watched her daughter graduate. For Suri, the name change was the final step toward freedom. College and a quiet life away from Hollywood. Later that summer, Suri enrolled at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, majoring in fashion. Katie helped her move into her dorm, carrying boxes herself. No cameras, no entourage, just a mother and daughter living an ordinary life. In 2025, Katie returned to directing with the film Happy Hours, reuniting with her Dawson's Creek co-star Joshua Jackson. Suri visited the set, now 19, poised and self-assured. She wore simple clothing and walked with calm confidence that years of silence had shaped. The world barely recognized her. But her message was clear. She was no longer defined by her father's fame. She was Suri Noel, an independent young woman building her own life. And the distance between her and her father seemed more permanent than ever. The heartbreak behind the headlines. In October 2025, Suri was spotted sitting on a New York doorstep, head in her hands, appearing exhausted and lost in thought. Moments later, Katie arrived in an Uber and sat beside her, offering quiet comfort. They walked off together, grabbing pastries as if they were any other mother and daughter. To outsiders, it was a simple moment. To those who followed their story, it was a symbol of how much they have leaned on each other since the day everything changed. Suri is now a college sophomore, studying fashion, writing music, and exploring who she is. Her relationship with her father remains non-existent. Tom continues to pay for her tuition and medical expenses, but they have not been seen together in 12 years. The man who once held her on red carpets now exists only as a distant memory in her life. Outro. Can silence ever be healed? Today, Tom Cruise continues to soar professionally, preparing for roles that push the boundaries of reality. Even planning scenes in space with NASA and SpaceX. But the distance between him and his daughter may be the one gap he never bridges. Katie Holmes has worked to keep bitterness out of the story, focusing on gratitude, growth, and the strength of her daughter. She speaks of Suri with pride, calling her incredible and independent. Yet Suri carries the weight of a story that isn't hers alone. A story of love, control, and the quiet cost of fame. For 19 years, the world has watched this family's story unfold like a film without an ending. Now, as Suri Noel builds her own life, the question remains: will she ever let her father back in? Or is this distance permanent? What do you think? Can time heal what silence created? Or are some divides too deep to cross?